You hear me okay? Very good. Look, I'm used to walking around with my mic in all the speeches that I give. And like Sam has said, I've spoken in more than 45 countries. And we are crazy. We go to many, many shows. We have done 1,000 over projects in 10 Asian countries. Okay, all this you can find either via my LinkedIn or our website. Now, what I'm going to share with you are very basic things, but I think as businessmen, you know that if your basics are wrong, then a lot of things can go wrong. And I will leave more time for Q&A. I will just run through the key things about franchising, and then from there, I can share more examples as to why certain brands do better, and then there are certain brands that die very quickly. Okay, so you won't see much of me now because I'm going to use my PowerPoint. Thank you. Okay, so what is franchising? Now, franchising right now is getting a lot of attention because as proven in data in the West, every time there's a crisis, there's big recession or big retrenchment, a lot of people start looking for franchise opportunities because if they get another job again, they might lose their job again when times are bad. So during this COVID-19 pandemic, actually, all of us know a lot of people are spending time online. And a lot of people that are laid off or even furloughed for a long time, they're beginning to think of alternatives. So again,
Albert, sorry, I think your screen is not shared yet.
Oh, sorry, my screen is not shared yet.
Yeah, I guess a bit of patience on this front. I think we are just, trying to get the screen across.
Oh, you didn't see the screen? Goodness me, hang on.
No problem.
Okay.
All right,
is it okay now?
Yes, we just need to put on presentation mode.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, so as I said just now, there are more inquiries actually during a time like this, because already even without recession or big retrenchments, some people are fed up with their own bosses, or they are just have this itch in their heart that they want to own a business, but yet they don't want to go through the long learning curve and having to build their own brand. So joining a franchise is one of the faster and safer ways. I say safer, and there's proof to this because I happen to represent Singapore at the World Franchise Council, and every year there will be new national franchise associations that want to join the council. And even the Singapore government, which is very shrewd, very careful with taxpayers' money, they support franchising. So you can see, so franchising is not a perfect so-called business model, but if done properly, quite popular and quite a good way. That's why the Singapore government, in spite of its carefulness, support franchising. Now, just an outline. I'll go through what is it, who franchises, what are the trends, and from the different parties' perspective. So exactly what's franchising? So franchising basically is a process of bottling success and sharing it with other people for use in developing their own successful business. So most people would think of McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, etc., etc. Like in Singapore, people would think of Ya Kun, for example. Yeah. So in a graphic way, basically there's this franchisor that's very experienced, that's run his business for a while already and has a rather good reputation. Okay, so he has know-how, he has good reputation, he knows what he's talking. Then there's this young person or inexperienced person in this particular line, whether it is kindergarten, food, or cleaning services, whatever, who's keen, say, I would like to learn from you, right? So what happens is this person will borrow, not buy, borrow the trademark, the name, logo from this experienced person called franchisor. And this franchisor, in order to protect his own reputation and to make sure there's consistency, will exert control. Of course, it's not free of charge. So he will also charge fees, all right, for this newbie, this franchisee, to obtain the right to operate the business, right? So Ray Kroc, the founder of, or rather the person who made McDonald's famous all over the world, said this: franchising is to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Meaning behind you or with you, there is a big group of other people that can help to build a brand, that can help to gain a lot of goodies like economies of scales, etc., etc. So, like in my earlier slide, so a lot of people that are, disillusioned with their job or have some very unhappy experience with their own boss or have this desire to become an entrepreneur, they say, okay, why work for someone else when you can work for yourself and reap the rewards of your efforts? So franchising is one way for them to get into this. So franchising is into a lot of industries. I name a lot of those examples you see on the slide are actually my own clients. So we have people like Jumbo Seafood, Crystal J, 12 Cupcakes, Tim Ho Wan, Soup Restaurant, Old Chang Kee, etc., etc. Education, we have Mind Champs, Lorna Whiston, Julia Gabriel, Kinderworld, etc., etc. Retail, we have OSIM, Unity Pharmacy. Millie's is a very famous shoes brand in Hong Kong and Macau. And then services like Sultans of Shave. I think, guys, you may have gone there for a haircut before. Two young men, very aggressive, very good concept, very stylish, yeah. And others, just to give you a few of some of the clients. We have done 1,000 over projects, so you can see quite a lot of our clients are quite famous. Including I Can Read, which is also enrichment program for children to learn to read properly, and then everywhere. Okay, so why is franchising increasingly important in not just Asian markets, but even right now, the continent that has been backward for a long time, Africa? Franchising is now growing by leaps and bounds. Why? Because thanks to the influence of internet, budget travel, people fly here and there, they see certain concepts that they like, and then they like to bring back to their own country. So generally, the middle class around the world will increase. If you look at Vietnam, you look at Indonesia, you look at Thailand, you look at even, of course, China. It used to be a very poor country, but now the middle class is huge and they spend and they want choices. So franchising is getting more and more important. And then, of course, increased productivity, because one of the reasons why the Singapore government encourages franchising is franchisees don't have to go and reinvent the wheel and start their own central kitchen and this and that. Everything is already done by the franchisor, so a lot of time is saved. Yeah, and a few people can just concentrate on something, and the rest just focus on what they're good at, like offering good sales service. Yeah. And of course, there's a high cost of management. You don't want to go into franchising having to employ, HR manager, IT manager, marketing manager. The franchisor has all these experts. So the franchisor's experts can help you, so you don't need to go and so-called invest in so many people and have a so-called big management team, which your business may not be able to support. Yeah. And then, like I said earlier, more and more people aspire to become their own boss. Yeah. Okay. So now I share the perspective from the different parties. The franchisor. Now the franchisor wants to so-called go into franchising because, hey, the franchisee takes all the risk. The franchisor only lend to the franchisee the name and give this franchisee initial training. But all the capital investment is by the franchisee. So he doesn't need, the franchisor doesn't need to use his own capital to grow, right? Then number two, the franchisor, like I said just now, in order to, as he grows, he will be able to employ more and more experts. You look at Bread Talk, okay, as they grow, then they have not just CEO, they have GMs for different divisions. They have, you know, IT professionals, they have financial professionals, etc., etc. Okay, because all this can help to take care of the different brands, so that the different brands under Bread Talk doesn't have to have their own HR manager or IT manager or marketing manager, things like that. Okay, so, and then of course you expand at minimal capital risk, which is quite the same with the first point. What is very interesting about franchising is franchisees' motivation is a very key thing, because when someone puts his savings on the line, you know, he will not be lazy, you know, and say, today is raining, I don't go and open shop, you know, or I'm getting tired of my business. No, because he is the one that invests in the business, so he is highly motivated versus, you know, you employing someone, a manager to run your shop, you know, so the managers get his pay, you know, whether there's business or no business, he may not be so motivated. Okay, another very big selling point is that as you grow, your bargaining power with all your suppliers becomes stronger and stronger. Okay, suppliers in terms of your food supplies, in terms of even advertisement with Straits Times, even with a trainer, you know, if let's say you want to invite, let's say a specialist to come and talk to all your franchisees, or it may cost, say, $5,000 per session. If you have 50 people, is 5,000 divided by 50 shops. So then it's very affordable versus just one shop or two shops. Okay. Now the next point is the possibility of exploiting new areas. What do we mean? You see, when you have a network, when you grow and grow, like for example, 7-Eleven, after a while they say, hey, people come to 7-Eleven because it's so convenient. Why should I only sell things that are in my shop? Why can't I also let them deposit their dirty laundry, and then I work with a laundry company, and then the laundry company will wash it and then send back to here, and then the customer can come back here, you know, to collect, because it's so convenient for them. Because as they come and collect their laundry, they can also buy their milk, their beer, their, you know, toothbrush, whatever, you know. So you have a lot more possibilities. Then also, as this is also mentioned earlier, when you have your own so-called group of experts, be it HR, be it IT, be it marketing, you can also have a so-called R&D department, just thinking of what new things to come up with, you know, and let your franchisees just do the customer service at their own shops. Okay, so you can focus, you know. So for example, again, just to have a very simple example, if you look at Bread Talk, Bread Talk can look, say, oh, right now, this bakery, that bakery is coming up with a new product now. Since I have so many more shops than all this bakery, why can't I also do the same? So then, you know, Josh Craig, the boss of Bread Talk, will tell his R&D guy, hey, let's also sell this thing, because you know, social media is all talking about this new bread. You quickly come up with it. So the R&D people go and try and say, okay, within a few days they come up with it already, they can sell, right? You know, then wider distribution is clear, because as your network is bigger and bigger, okay, your touch points with your customers all over, not just the island but the world, if you have franchisees all over the world, will be huge, right? And then finally, the franchise system provides a lot of value add. You'll find that even people like, you know, Warren Buffett, they buy into franchise companies that has got a big network. Why? Because, you know, then other companies, be it in POS, be it in, you know, some other systems or services, they can all so-called become a new so-called you know, whole system, you know, the entire network can sell to one another. So this ecosystem is a very healthy one. And then of course, if you want to sell, wow, the net worth is very high, because there's a lot of value add in all the things that you have integrated together. Yeah. So as you grow, your worth of your name, and if you sell, the worth of your company will be very high. Yeah? So I just want to show a few points about the wrong reasons for going to franchising. I have, not that I'm proud, but to be ethical, in my last 31 years, we have turned away maybe up to 10 companies, because when we ask the entrepreneur, we say, why you want to franchise? They say, why not? I just collect franchise fees only, what? And then wow, with the new capital, I can solve a lot of my rental problems lah. I can buy this, buy that. So we said, oh, so your main idea is not to help people be successful. Your main idea is just to quickly raise capital because you can't get from the bank. So to us, this is not a good reason. Another reason is they want to make money from the franchisee. It's not wrong to make money, but I think the more importantly is when you franchise, you need to make sure that your franchisee has a good chance to succeed. Okay. It's like what we call the golden geese. Your franchisees are like, all the goose that are laying eggs for you. You don't kill them. You nurture them. You help them to be healthy so that they can lay more eggs. So you get eggs. Okay. So in the context of franchising, you make money from your royalty. You don't make money straight away from charging very high franchise fees, so that all the money go into your pocket without really checking whether your franchisee in the first 1-2 years will struggle or not, because they have already spent so much money paying you your franchise fee, right? Then another wrong reason is, you franchise because you come up with a system whereby your franchisee have to buy a lot of things from you, because you happen to have a factory. And then of course, one of the requirement is the franchisee has to buy from your factory. So again, this is not actually a very good reason. It could be a reason, but it shouldn't be the main reason. Yeah. And then finally, we have also seen people who want to franchise because they say that all their competitors are franchising. So if they don't do it, it's like they lose face, and it's like, hey, they are not competitive enough. So it's more an ego trip. I won't go into details now, because one of the things we do before we take up a franchise project is we actually analyze, all the right factors. And if factors are not there, we will not take the job, because it will reflect badly on us. Okay, we don't want to clone a sick animal, so to speak. So for example, if there's a very badly run company, let's say they sell coffee, it's dirty, and then the coffee tastes bad, the service staff are very rude, and then they want to franchise for all the wrong reasons, and and then I take up the project. I'm being very bad, because then their franchisees will all suffer. Yeah. Okay. Next slide. But like I said, there's no perfect system. There's no perfect government, no perfect country, and franchising is definitely not perfect. Okay. So, for example, even in the case of McDonald's, sometimes they see a very good outlet, but the outlet has been already, let's say, been rented by a franchisee, then, they say, sayang, if I were to open it on my own, every dollar is mine. But now I let the franchisee operate in that location. I only take royalty, so many percent, maybe 5% or 8% of the top line, So sometimes you have to forgo the lion's share of the profit. Not all the time. And of course, there are other ways for you to make back also. Yeah. And then sorry, my Siri was on. Okay. Okay. So then there is potential loss of business goodwill, because if you are so unfortunate or in such a hurry, or your consultant didn't do a good job and didn't help you come up with the proper system of choosing franchisees, you have chosen the wrong guy. This wrong guy can kill your goodwill, you know. Meaning, for example, they instead of 2 scoops of kaya on the bread, okay, the fellow is stingy. The fellow put 1 scoop. Then customers say, "Hey, how come when I eat this kaya toast in this outlet, it's so bad, no taste. Whereas I go to the other outlet, it's good." So they say, hey, maybe this company is on the down. They become very stingy. So it's a goodwill. Related to it is business control. You know, for example, cleanliness. For example, they start to order smaller eggs. You know, for example, they instead of rinsing that glass, you know, in proper detergent, you know, the franchisee start to just use plain water, and then people say, how come the glass has a funny smell? So all this control can also be lost. And then worse still, if this franchisee finally you want to get rid of him or her, he say, okay, fine. And then he leaves the system, and then he starts on and sell exactly the same thing, except it's a different name. So you may have, because you have trained him or her already. So, and then he has already know where to get all the supplies, how to operate, how to use all the machines. So you have a potential competitor, right? Then other things which has happened before are franchisees who, because they don't want to pay so much royalty, they cook their books. They don't, you know, they don't tell you exact so-called turnover. Even with POS, you'll be surprised. There are ways and means to still not key in, you know, yeah. So if a franchisee wants to cheat, he or she can find a way to cheat, right? And then of course, if you are not careful and you didn't plan properly, you keep recruiting a lot of franchisees, and then your own team, your own structure cannot support such a big network, you know, it can really give you a lot of unnecessary trouble. Okay, so next slide. Of course, the franchisee expectations. Again, if you have chosen the wrong franchisees, or worse still, when you are at a show or when they come to your office and say, I want to be a franchisee, you oversell. You tell them how good you are, you do this, you do that. And then the franchisee's expectations are very high, and then you don't meet. Then they and other franchisees will gang up together and complain. They may even write to the press and say how bad you are, right? So these are things to watch out for. Now, from the franchisee's perspective, okay, so now it's like, so their thinking is, oh yeah, instead of spending a lot of time and money to establish a successful brand, why don't I join, right? Okay, so they join. So to them, they say, last time I am not so motivated. Well, now I better be highly motivated because it's all my money. So this is all good, okay? But there are also some franchisees who have the wrong, sorry, let me take a step back. Who have the wrong so-called motivation, okay? So one is they have a maverick attitude. They say, okay, I buy, show successful one. I just employ someone, you know, and then it will run by itself because, you know, again, if you use McDonald's, say, okay lah, you know, McDonald's so famous, but you'll be so wrong because if you are a maverick and you don't put in the effort, you know, people who know McDonald's, they walk in the toilet, they say, wow, this toilet like hasn't been washed for the 2 hours already. It's getting untidy and dirty, you know, or they say, wow, I want to ask certain things. Wow, how come the staff like all not be bothered? Why? Because you are not there. You didn't really roll up your sleeves and make sure that, you know, you or at least someone you trust very well is there, you know, giving all the touch points, making sure that all the touch points are positive. Yeah. So this is very much like an investment without involvement. You just invest and hoping that the people you employ will run the business as you know, with as much motivation as you should have, right? And people think that it's trouble-free. That if the light is blinking, you know, the franchisor will change for you, you know, or if suddenly your auntie resigns, you know, and then the franchisor will send someone to replace for you. No, you are wrong. It's not as trouble-free as that. Like I said just now, go back to basics. You know, of course, some consultants even get this wrong. the franchisor basically only lends you his or her name, let's say McDonald's. And the franchisor basically gives you the initial training. After that, whatever happens in your own restaurant or shop, okay, is your problem. If there's plumbing problem, lighting problem, employee problem, you have to solve it. It's not trouble-free, you know. Don't get it wrong. You know, all these are your problem, not the franchisors. Okay, and if you read the agreement properly, all these are very clearly spelled out. And then of course, some people, they have ulterior motive. They say, okay, actually, I've seen some rich Indonesians, and not just Indonesians, Thais and Vietnamese, Singaporeans. You know, they say, hey, my son want to be a franchisee, can or not? Can now? Hey, don't mind now. Okay, I pay you. And actually, their intention is for the son just to get some work, okay, and then later join their big conglomerate, you know, so that, you know, their own big conglomerates, all the managers won't say, oh, you just let your son without experience, working experience, just come and join the company and straight away become manager. So this is not being very fair to the franchisor, you know, if you use it as a stepping stone, okay. So the right reasons will be you want to join a tried and tested system. You know, you don't have to go through a long learning curve. Okay, and then you're joining a franchise that has a recognized name and has a good reputation. You know, and that you can get support and assistance from the franchisor. Now again, the support, like I said, it's not those daily, you know, plumbing problem, lighting problem, employee problem. The support is, okay, you know, you need to do some local marketing and you want to make use of, you know, some programs that have been used before by headquarters, you know, and then you need to localize it or whatever. Then franchisors, marketing people can come and give you advice, maybe help you to set up maybe, you know, a local version of some sort of a website and things like that, or marketing paraphernalia. Yeah. And then, of course, you know, you will get the exclusive right to operate in an assigned territory. So you don't so-called fight with 1,000 other people in, let's say, a small territory, let's say in Katong or in, you know, in Toa Payoh, you know. So what is important here is the franchisor is fair and will not so-called cause cannibalization and, you know, give so many franchises to one small territory and let all the franchisees within that territory fight among themselves, you know. So you must ensure that so that you have the exclusive right. Yeah. And then these are all I shared before that you can benefit, because on your own, if you buy, let's say, a dozen eggs from a normal supplier, maybe the supplier will charge you, say, for example, 10 cents per egg. But your franchisor having, let's say, 100 outlets, he can get the egg supplier to sell them at maybe 7 cents, 6 cents, you know, yeah. So there's bulk savings, not just in supplies, but in training, in advertisement, and many other things. Yeah. This has been talked about just now. You can access the franchisor's management with all sorts of experts up there. Yeah. This is beautiful. Just to give an example, what I mean by cross-fertilization of ideas. If you think of McDonald's, when they started in the 50s, they only got 3 products. They have the quarter pounder burger, which is a small burger. They got a milkshake, and they have got the French fries. But as they grew, you know, some franchisees, for example, in the the New England area of America, a lot of them during those days were Catholics, and they don't eat beef, which is red meat. They don't eat red meat on Fridays. So the franchisee there actually came up with the idea of white meat, and the fish burger was born, you know. And similarly, the Midwest, and I went to school in Iowa many years ago. I'm 64 years old this year. So in those days, in the early days, well, even till today, the Midwest is very, very cold during winter. So one of the franchisees there came up with the idea of like having children parties, you know, so that the children will bring their parents to come and at least they have business during a cold winter. And the idea of having a clown and having children party came about. So a lot of good ideas can come from franchisees. Yeah? And then the franchisor will disseminate, or rather, adopt this new idea as his new intellectual property, and then actually share it out to the entire system. Yeah. Okay. So I want to conclude so that we can have time for Q&A. So franchising is not a bed of roses, but if you do it properly, and for those of you who are interested, I can tell you how we do it properly, very systematically, because we have done this for 31 years. Yeah. So, and then you do it properly with a solid foundation, and that you really choose people with the right commitment, okay? Then your franchise can really go places. And the beauty is the Singapore government still has grants for eligible companies. Right now, during the COVID-19 period, even up to 80%, but normally it's up to 70%. Yeah. So a lot of our clients, whether it is Jumbo Seafood, whether it's Tim Ho Wan, whether it's Mind Champs, Old Chunky, they all got grants. Yeah. So I'll stop here and I'll let Sam take over.